Hello, I'm Chris. I wanted to do another philosophy vid. This is what this channel's about, really. Welcome to my channel, by the way. Like and subscribe if you like. It's more like vlogs I do on my channel, really. Reflections, philosophy, bit of, try and make them amusing though, not too dry. But today I wanted to riff on these two words popped into my head: mini and macro doomerism. This is the end, my only friend. The blue tack that won't stick properly. There you go. Stay there, you fuck. By the power of fuck, stay there. Anyway, micro and macro doomerism. So, a lot of what I talks about historical on this channel has been pessimism and philosophy, a bit of nihilism, bit of, that sort of perspective and outlook philosophy, I suppose. So I wanted to just talk about those two things and then relate it to this idea I had of the micro and macro doomerism. Now, doomer is a bit of a meme. I'm even wearing the beanie and I've got a Joy Division t-shirt, so I suppose I do fit the archetype somewhat. But then obviously over-identification with an archetype is a bad thing and all that bollocks. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like from all the philosophical reading I've done, like people tend to fit into one or two category, right? But not really. But yeah, you got like optimists, pessimists. Optimists see the glass as half full. Optimists will see it as half empty. Now I'm 37, so I know that I am a pessimist at heart, really. I tend to see the negative before I see the positive in any given situation. My general perspective is negative. Not to the extreme of being cynic about everything. I do have a hidden core that's quite still emotional, sentimental, and all the rest of it. But my how I look at the world and my understanding of the big picture is negative. And by negative, I don't even mean it's necessarily. I think it's a realist perspective, really. Entropy exists. Everything breaks down over time. I'm getting older. My nose is red and blown up. I've got more grey hairs. But I feel that's healthy. It's healthy to be aware that everything is constantly degrading. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's just reality. I think it's being a realist, right? I'm re-exploring old ground here, but I think. But the thing I wanted to get onto really was, micro and macro doomerism, or pessimism. You can replace the words. I mean, I guess in a way I'm just using a meme to explore this. But macro doomerism, I think, is on the extreme end, does transform into an actively destructive form of nihilism, actually. So I think if you take certain realizations you might get from reading pessimistic or nihilistic philosophy and then apply it to everything in the world on the macro level, so the entire universe at the highest level of that, because part of the realization that you get when you realize that you're not that important and you are a tiny speck in an infinite and expanding universe that will probably never make sense, and there's no God and there's no absolute meaning and there's no answers coming down the pipeline, is people get alienated and they get horrified and they get this existential vacuum feeling that can consume them, and then they can provoke a lot of anxiety and they can feel like, what's the point? I may as well kill myself. The self-destructive nihilistic revelation, as it were. But then I think it's more actually useful to view it as shrug your shoulders at the thing, right? So what? It frees you up. I mean, Camus talks about this. It makes you more free you're free, do what you want, whenever you will, or whatever the song is. But yeah, basically just frees you up. That's not a bad thing. I mean, I'd hate to have like some weird god dictator guy watching everything I have ever done, judging me silently with a, sort of like, what, like medieval morality. I mean, like most religions, especially Orthodox forms, are very slow to, because morality changes over time. Right? Obviously, Nietzsche talks about this. Morality is not a fixed. The Romans were fine with slaves. They were fine with murder as entertainment in the arena. They were fine with lots of things that today we'd find abhorrent. But then, in America, they still have a death penalty where people who've probably done a crime will get electrocuted till they shit their pants and their brains are fried and all the rest of it. So, there is a certain relativity to morality, and people often justify things, I don't know, things that could be quite destructive through morality. I mean, for example, the Iraq War was like put into that context where it's like, oh, we have to get them because they did 9/11, even though it wasn't them, Saddam Hussein, and anyway, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole big conversation, a messy thing, really. Fuck's sake. We always make a mess of everything. Human beings are messy. This is why I'm a pessimist. I'm a messy pessimist as well. But I don't think there are any big answers coming down the pipeline. You live your life in doubt. You're never going to know everything. You're always going to be trying to figure out what you're going to do next. You're always going to be living in doubt. But doubt in itself provides opportunity. This is where people misunderstand that, this micro form of pessimism that I'm talking about isn't actually that bad a thing. Because what that actually means, I think, is that you see all the negatives before the positives, right? But that means you're prepared and that you can actually plan and evaluate and strategize, if you will, to prevent those negative things from occurring because you've already seen them and mapped them in your mind, right? So, obviously this is sort of like relating it more to, I don't know, it could be anything like life planning a move, organising something, a work thing. But, and obviously because I've worked in IT, this is something I am constantly, my mental mode constantly anyway is in that mode of what can go wrong. Because you have to evaluate what can go wrong months before it actually goes wrong. A lot of people who've worked in IT will have experienced this where you really do have to know all the negatives before you can think of, you can actually implement the features to prevent those negative events from taking place, right? But yeah, that's it. So basically, micro doomerism is a certain positive negativity, right? It's more of a planning ahead, strategizing, planning for the worst case scenario, and then it actually prevents the risk of it happening. Whereas macro doomerism is like being a little pussy and just like caving in and just thinking like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, life is meaningless. Well, fucking grow up. So what? Fucking get a grip. And this is the problem. Too many people are so embroiled in their emotions and they're emotionally unstable, and instead of like just getting their shit together and trying to do something and plan something and create that meaning in their life, they just, oh, I'm a victim. Grow up. None of us are perfect. We've all had our moments. Like I've had a pretty difficult year of just like mostly money, finance, but then I've just been working through it. And people who are consumed by their emotions. Anyway, like I'm not completely. I'm not completely free of this bullshit. Everyone has emotions, unfortunately. Everyone has emotions, but emotions aren't rational. Emotions are the snappish things, really. They're irrational. That's why I hate being around ridiculously. People are ruled by their emotions, as it were. I don't mind being around emotional people. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with a certain amount of emotions myself. But being around people who are emotionally ruled and dominated by their emotions is an annoying thing, right? Because there's no subject. It's just be like, it's like pure subjectivity. It's like being around people who are just ruled over by a completely subjective worldview. And I guess, like, in a way, I see that, macro doomerism, where it's like, you sort of cave in when you realise that this will have this nihil. Even like some people who self-identify as nihilists, are just like emo crybaby fucking assholes, really. Just like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, really. Just like I say, these tend to be just like reeling off a bunch of thoughts, and see where I go with it, really. I don't know. What do you think as the viewer? I don't really get much feedback on this channel, probably because of swearing. Obviously, it gets flagged, and it's not popular with YouTube's algorithm, which isn't something I particularly care about, to be honest. Obviously, I'm going to leave this at 10 minutes though, just so I can try and fuck with the algorithm, as it were. Fuck with it constructively. Because, I mean, that I've said all this bollocks before, but it's so annoying how you actually have to play with these algorithms and try and play by their rules. This is a video for adults. At the end of the day, if you can't take a 37-year-old man going fuck, then you're fuck off. This video isn't for you. Anyway, all that said. People are ridiculous, aren't they, really? Oh, man said a swear word. I'm being ridiculous now, actually. This is just pure narcissism talking, to be honest. Not pure narcissism, just absurd narcissism, really. Which is partially, obviously, I'm a 37-year-old YouTuber who does stupid videos about philosophy. What do you expect? Anyway, what do you think about any of that bollocks I just spurted out of my mouth hole? In a bit.